welcome to yet another episode of the Economy PT series. Now I hope you have covered major parts of other syllabus such as environment, art and culture, and now we are going on with economy. Let's move on to the first topic, that is Unified Presentment Management System, that is UPMS. Okay, let's know about it. Now NPCI Bharat Bill Pay Limited has introduced Unified Presentment Management System for recurring bill payments. Wherever we see the instances of bill payments which are recurring in nature, for that this system has been introduced. And who has introduced this? NPCI Bharat Bill Pay. Important fact. Bharat Bill Pay, what is it? It is the wholly owned subsidiary of National Payments Corporation of India. The twisted question can be, what is Bharat Bill Pay? It comes under the RBI, a wholly owned subsidiary of RBI, a wholly owned subsidiary of some other institute, some other organization. But remember this, it's a bill payments service platform of NPCI. Okay, very easy about it. Unified Presentment Management System, how does it work? What are its features? Under this system, bills will be automatically fetched from the billers and presented to the customers, so that it becomes hassle-free. And consumers can take action in terms of auto-debit. They can predetermine that auto-debit can happen whenever such bills come recurring in nature, and bill payment management can also be done. Now, it will help the customers how to set up standing instruction for any mode and from any channel on their recurring bill payment system, so that the customers are also at an ease and the providers are also at an ease. UPMS will also aid in democratizing recurring bill payments and making them further convenient for customers. Okay. Also, insurance companies and education institutions will be benefiting from this system. This could be a tricky statement. Remember this very properly. Sometimes we think that these institutes have nothing to do with such system. Also, National Payment Corporation of India, about this we have to be specific with our memory of the features of NPCI. Now, it's an umbrella organization for operating retail payment and settlement system in India. So, whenever we are talking about retail payment and settlement system, NPCI has to be in the picture because it is an umbrella institute. It is a huge institute under which sub-departments or subsystems can take place. Okay, it's an initiative of RBI and Indian Banks Association. Again, RBI and SBI, RBI and Internet Association of India, RBI and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. No, RBI and Indian Banks Association. I am talking along from this perspective, I am talking along with the twisted questions because seldom students have a problem with that. Okay, NPCI has made a significant impact on retail payment, and that has of course made the country more economically democratized, and that is what India wanted. It has issued a RuPay debit card. Remember that as well. Now, let's look at our previous year question. Very important. You will know how questions work. Consider the following statements. National Payments Corporation of India helps promoting the financial inclusion of the country. Of course. Why? Because smallest, if you have observed, I have observed personally, smallest to smallest vendors nowadays have a QR code that, if you think, was not possible few years back. And with the coming of the NPCI, it has been made possible. NPCI has launched RuPay, a card payment scheme. Right now we studied about this, right? So both are correct. C is the correct answer. Moving on, let's talk about offline e-payments. Now, Reserve Bank of India came out with the framework for facilitating small value digital payments in offline mode. So even if you do not have the possibility of internet, we have offline payment system by RBI. It would promote digital payments in semi-urban and rural areas of India, because digital penetration in rural India is not very robust right now. An offline digital payment, it means a transaction that doesn't require internet or telecommunication connectivity. Again, few years back, it was something like a dream, but now it has come true. Payments can be carried out face to face. That means with respect to payment, you have to be close to the person you are paying to, using any channel or instrument like what? Card, wallets and mobile devices. These transactions not need any additional factor of authentication. This is something that prelims can twist for you. So remember, they do not require an additional factor of authentication. Balance replenishment, remember this, balance will be shown only after you have connected to the online mode. Okay. Of course, whenever things will get updated, how we will get an information about it? When we update our system, that is with respect to online mode. Transactions are subject to limit of rupees 200 per transaction, and there is an overall limit of 2000 for all transactions. This is for safety purposes, of course. From 200 to 2000, remember the bracket of limitation as well. Moving on, let's talk about the next topic, that is National Monetization Pipeline with respect to infrastructure. So that we have to be very careful about certain features of it. How? Now, central government has launched the National Monetization Pipeline. It aims to unlock value in which projects? Brownfield projects, by engaging the private sector. So what projects? Brownfield projects, and we have to ask for money from private sector. I am the government, I am asking for money from private sector. This is in line with the PM's strategic disinvestment policy. Whatever areas are not being favorable to the government and government is incurring huge losses, so for that it's a disinvestment policy for the Prime Minister's strategic disinvestment policy. This is in line with that. Okay, under which government will retain presence in only a few identified areas, with the rest tapping the private sector. Because India is lacking investment, the investment atmosphere is not very positive, you can say. Also, the government is trying to make the system as free as possible, not monopolize every economic sector. For that as well, you have to remember this point. What is the key point? Union Budget 2021-2022 identified monetization of operating public infrastructure assets as a key means for sustainable infrastructure financing. For that very reason, this project is important. It will provide with a framework, a predetermined framework for monetization, and give potential investors a ready list of assets to generate investment interest hassle-free. Roads, railways and power sector asset will comprise over 66% of the total estimated value of the asset. So if it is asked in prelims, any statement with respect to the National Monetization Pipeline can come like road, railways will comprise over 66% of total estimated value of assets to be monetized. No, not only roads and railways but also power sector. So these three are the keywords for you: roads, railways and power sector. Because remember like this, these areas are wanting of huge investment for their modernization, and the government has seen power sector first of all to be the most negatively balanced right now. Railways is something that we are trying to modernize, and road is something that we are trying to make sustainable in nature. Okay, the National Monetization Pipeline will run co-terminus with the NIP, that is National Infrastructure Pipeline. Now, it could be asked that these will work, the National Monetization Pipeline will work after National Infrastructure Pipeline. No, co-terminus, that means simultaneously with NIP, that was launched in December 2019 and it had a corpus of rupees 100 lakh crore. Remember this as well. Okay, an empowered core group of secretaries on asset monetization under the chairmanship of Cabinet Secretary to be constituted. So who will chair this committee? Cabinet Secretary. It could be Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of you say Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Finance, or some other institution can be given, but Cabinet Secretary is the correct answer here. Very odd but true. Okay, Bank Deposit Insurance Program, let's know about this now. PM addressed depositors on depositors first guaranteed time-bound deposit insurance payment of up to rupees 5 lakh in New Delhi. Now what is this? I am the depositor. I have put 60-70 lakh in one account, one bank. If there is a risk with respect to if I will get my money back, if there is any economic crisis, for that this scheme has been there. What is deposit insurance? It's a protection cover against losses accruing to bank deposits if a bank fails financially and has to go for liquidation. Also, if we do not get deposit insurance to the depositor, Why will they ever have faith in the economy? Why will they give money to their banks? If they won't give the money to the banks, there will be a lack of liquidity in the economy, because through our deposit only, the banks will be able to give loans to other people, right? Deposit insurance, it covers all deposits like savings, fixed, current, recurring in all commercial banks functioning in India. Tricky question. Deposit insurance are only for savings account and not fixed and recurring, or for only savings and fixed and not recurring. Remember, for all of them, for all commercial banks in India. Moving on, bank deposit insurance program. For that, the Centre in August 2021 passed an amendment to the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation Act to ensure that account holders can access their insured deposit amount within 90 days of such a liability. Here we have to remember the act and also the timeline. Okay, 90 days of such a liability. Amendment came in the backdrop of troubles of depositors for getting immediate access to their funds of banks, big banks such as Punjab, Maharashtra, cooperative banks. Yes Bank. Yes Bank is a big bank. It's not like Yes Bank is something like a small bank. It operates heavily in our country. This will help to increase trust in banks, that I have already told you. And in an event of a bank failing in India, a depositor has a claim to maximum of rupees 5 lakh per account. Per account. Remember this very well as insurance cover. The cover of rupees 5 lakh per depositor, who is providing it? It is provided by the Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. Okay, and it is a fully owned subsidiary of RBI. Another very important point to remember, it's a fully owned subsidiary. Okay, moving on. Now let's talk about digital banking units. Now budget announced on setting up of 75 digital banking units in 75 districts of the country. Numbers might not be asked, but on a safer side, we do not know UPSC is capable of surprises. Remember that. Okay. This is to take forward the government's agenda of digital financial inclusion. First was financial inclusion. For that, we had Prime Minister Jan Dhan Yojana, where you could open a bank account with 0 rupees in your account. Now we have to include those bank accounts digitally, so that the government can know what is the volume of digital transaction, what is the volume of transaction is happening in the country. A digital banking unit, what is it? It is a specialized fixed point business unit or a hub, and it houses certain minimum digital infrastructure for delivering digital banking products and servicing. So one thing we have to remember, it is specialized. It can be a fixed point business or a hub having very basic amount of digital devices, so that digital inclusion or digital transaction can take place. Also, they provide existing financial products and services digitally in self-service mode. So in what mode? Self-service mode. Commercial banks who have past digital banking experience. This is a feature, remember very precisely. Who all can enter into the digital banking unit business? Commercial banks who have past digital banking experience are permitted to open DBUs where? From tier 1 to tier 6 cities. And they are not required to take permission from RBI in each case. So, twisted question could be there. They are required to take permission from RBI in tier 3 to tier 6 cities. No. Remember that they are not required to do so. However, regional rural banks, payment banks and local area banks are not permitted. Who are not permitted? RRBs are out of the question. Payment banks are out of the question, and local area banks are out of the question. They cannot set up DBUs. Okay. As per RBI, each DBU must offer certain minimum digital banking products and services. Now, what are the services to be included? Remember these as well. The saving banks account under various schemes, current account, fixed deposit and recurring deposit account. Digital kit should be there for the customers. Mobile banking, very important. Internet banking, debit card, credit card, another very important feature. Mass transit system can also take place. Digital kit for merchants. Also, the UPI QR code, BHIM and Aadhaar point of sale. So, all these are the important services that DBUs can provide. I hope you take a screenshot of this. Okay, it can be asked. So, digital banking services, digital banking units can provide services of, then you have top 5 or top 3 like that, and choose the correct answer using the following codes. Then you will be given codes, so remember these. Okay, moving on. Significances. First of all, it will open the rural market for service providers, boost credit flow in the rural areas. It can provide better customer experience aided by technology. Units will decrease the manpower requirement, because of course when units will be provided at areas which are far flung, if they are able to self-serve, then of course manpower won't be required. Government will also take care of its own treasure, right? And they will be high yield units for the parent bank as well. Such units will encourage financial and digital literacy. People will start to learn. Rural population will start to learn about how do we operate DBOs, and it will encourage a favorable outlook towards digital banking. That's the need of the hour. Let's know about Reserve Bank Innovation Hub. What is all this? The RBI governor inaugurated Reserve Bank Innovation Hub where? In Bengaluru. When, under what provisions has it been set up? Section 8 of what? The Companies Act of 2013, and it has a capital initial corpus of 100 crore rupees. Twisted question can be asked. RBI Innovation Hub is set up under Section 5 of the RBI Act 1934. That is not correct. So remember that. It is a wholly owned subsidiary of the RBI. Remember that as well. RBIH aims to create an ecosystem that has a dedication to promote access to financial service and provide the products for the low income. Important features, remember them. It's expected to build an ecosystem to develop prototypes, patents, proofs of concept, and also promote cross-thinking spanning regulatory domains and national boundaries. It had plans to identify and mentor startups having maximum potential. Also expected to identify problem statements in different domains and explore potential solution. The hub hosted Swanari Tech Sprint to create sustainable solution for women-owned enterprise. Very important, remember this. Who hosted the Swanari Tech Sprint? Or what is the object of Swanari Tech Sprint? This could be asked. Okay. Tech Sprint is aimed at advancing digital financial inclusion for women in India. Again, very important point. Moving on. Let's now talk about RBI Retail Direct Scheme. The Prime Minister launched the RBI Retail Direct Scheme for the government bonds so that the retail investor can have access to government bonds. Government bonds are hugely in demand because of their stability, although their return is low, but it is much more stable and it is very high in demand due to its insurance capabilities. People will now be able to open a retail direct gilt account with whom? The RBI. Access to primary issuance of government securities will be available through the portal, and it is aimed at diversifying the government securities market. It will also offer portal avenue to invest in central government security, treasury bill, state development loans and sovereign gold bond. Important point to be remembered from the perspective of prelims. In what arenas can people invest? Government security, central government security, treasury bills, state development loans and sovereign gold bond schemes. Okay, they can invest in primary as well as secondary market, government security markets. So you have to remember another point, primary and secondary both are open. Moving on, negotiated dealing system, order matching system. What is this order matching segment? It's RBI screen based anonymous electronic order matching system for trading in government securities in what? The secondary market. So you could be asked like negotiated dealing system order matching segment. It pertains to, then options will be given. You can know that it is related to RBI Retail Direct Scheme. Okay. And Samriddhi scheme is also very important from the perspective of exam because Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog and US Agency for International Development has announced a new partnership under Samriddhi initiative. Seldom it has been asked that who are the partners or collaborators with respect to a particular scheme. So you know who are them. Samriddhi stands for Sustainable Access to Markets and Resources for Innovative Delivery of Healthcare. Okay. The collaboration has to focus on innovation with respect to healthcare landscape accelerating the 300 startups by providing customer connect. So it's with respect to healthcare, Samriddh. And another point is that it wants to engage with 300 startups by providing customer connect, investor connect, and international immersion in the next 3 years. Then only a startup will have a robust structure. Without investors, without customers, without international mechanisms, startups don't flourish, An investment of up to rupees 40 lakh to the startup based on current valuation to be provided. So rupees 40 lakh is there. And the objectives are to bridge supply side gaps in healthcare facility to respond to health emergencies in the immediate, medium and long term. So all are covered, immediate, medium and long term. And this is to build the supply, not the demand side. This could be a confusing statement if it is asked in the prelims. Supply side gaps will be plugged with respect to immediate, short and long term needs. Accelerate scale up and adoption of innovative and market based health solution. Mobilize sources to support high impact health solution and build sustainable healthcare system. Promote local and comprehensive solution at the community and facility level for vulnerable people. Significance is that Atal Innovation Mission and Samriddh will leverage philanthropic capital. That means capital which is in the nature of donation, and public sector resources also to offset barriers for commercial investment in healthcare sector, specifically in small and medium ones. To invest large scale in healthcare solutions as well. Healthcare has never been more important because of the COVID-19 pandemic. New partnership announced with Enhance Samriddh's effort to reach vulnerable population, leveraging AIMS expertise in innovation and entrepreneurship, that is Atal Innovation Mission under Niti Aayog. So I hope I tried to cover everything. Everything was understandable. Thank you so much for watching. Soon we will come out with our next episode.